So hello and welcome back to the second last video of this 8 video long squad analysis series, and once again I'm joined by Mr. Charbel Coorey, the owner of CricBlog. And in the last video we talked about the Kings 11 Punjab. In this video we shall be talking about the Delhi Capitals. Weird team, right?
Yeah. How do you fit all those openers, into two spots? You've got, Rahane and Dhawan. They've both been solid IPL performers, particularly Dhawan. Hard to leave him out. But then you've also got Jason Roy. You've also got, Prithvi Shaw. And then, you know what? You've also got Marcus Stoinis as an opening option.
Marcus Stoinis.
I really worry about Marcus Stoinis if they're going to play him if he plays in the middle order. A reason why he wasn't picked for Australia's T20I squad back end of last year was because there was no room for him to open the batting. You've seen in the Big Bash, his best spot in T20 cricket is opening the batting because he takes a little bit of time to get going. You're not allowed that luxury in the middle order. You've got to get going pretty much straight away. So I think Delhi Capitals have got a bit of an issue with how they balance their 11. Who are they going to leave out? Because they're going to leave out some very good players. And how they balance their 11. I think that's the big question for them. They've got all these openers. So we'll see how that goes.
Exactly. To be honest, even Alex Carey should be batting in the top 3. But this team, they too many opening options, too many options for the top 3. I guess they'll boil down upon Prithvi Shaw and Shikhar Dhawan to open the innings, the left-right combo. At number 3, definitely Shreyas Iyer plays. And then at 4 and 5, you've got Hetmeyer and Pant. 2 left-handers, 2 destructive left-handers. And I feel that they are somewhat reliant upon those 2 over there. If those 2 get going, they form a formidable duo, that's for sure. And if those 2 get going, this team might do well. If they don't, they might struggle, to be honest.
Agreed. So much rests on those 2 because you look at that top 3. If they don't play Jason Roy, it's an accumulating top 3. It's not a overly powerful top 3 compared to some other teams. So if Delhi Capitals want to go to that next level and get those big totals, a lot rests on Shimron Hetmeyer and Rishabh Pant. Of course, both have a lot of ability and potential. But that's a lot of pressure on those 2, in my opinion, because you've got all those opening options, and Rishabh Pant and Shimron Hetmeyer, they might be left in a situation where, okay, we need to get a move on here. I can't get out, but I've got to up the scoring as well. So we'll see how they go. That's a worry for me for Delhi this season. I think, following on from a very promising season last year, I think that might be a bit of an issue this time around.
Absolutely. You talked about their top 3. You look at Dhawan and Iyer, you look at them as accumulators, as you said. Maybe somebody who can anchor the innings.
Yeah.
2 anchors in the top 3, that's not what you actually want.
That's the problem in T20 cricket. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then Prithvi Shaw, not a bad player, but again, he is very inconsistent. He'll win you a game single-handedly, but then he won't perform in the next 4 games following it. So he's inconsistent over there. Added pressure upon Rishabh Pant, not only because of the top 3, but because Shreyas Iyer has taken his spot in the national team. So there is a lot of pressure upon Rishabh Pant this season.
There's always a lot of talk about Rishabh Pant from an Indian perspective as well. Like there's a lot of spotlight on him. He's the first keeper after MS Dhoni. So automatically that's a huge, amount of pressure on you. So, even though, he'll have a spot in the Delhi team just about every game, of course. There's that added pressure. I've got to perform, not only from an IPL perspective, but I want the Indian selectors to see that I'm playing well. And I want to get into that national side on a regular basis as well. So how well he handles that pressure is absolutely crucial for both himself and Delhi Capitals this year.
True. And, talking about his ability, Rishabh Pant, he has got all the ability in the world.
He does.
He plays those shots so easily. And I feel that if he gets going along with Hetmeyer, as mentioned, then this team might do well. At number 6, I guess they're forced to play Marcus Stoinis. You talked about, his ideal spot being the opening, being as an opener. But at number 6, Marcus Stoinis definitely is not the best option. He is a power hitter, yes, but yes, he takes time to get going. So Marcus Stoinis at number 6, and then you play Akshar Patel, that finishing department, again, not very strong. Relies upon how Hetmeyer and Pant get going. If they last till then it's good for them. But if they don't, then Stoinis and Axel Patel. Then you've got the bowlers. You've got Ashwin, Rabada. He is the key bowler for Delhi once again. Rabada, because I guess they don't even have a backup for Rabada. They have Kemo Paul, but they don't have a backup for Rabada. They tried to get Chris Wokes and he's pulled out. So they lack depth over there.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even call Chris Wokes a replacement for Rabada in the sense.
Exactly.
No disrespect against Chris Wokes, a good cricketer, but in terms of white ball cricket, I think Rabada's in a league of his own. They need him playing, and they need him playing very well throughout the tournament. I think a lot rests on KG. I think a lot rests on their spinners as well. They've got some good spin options there with Ravi Ashwin, Sandeep Lamishane there as well. And also, I think they've got Amit Mishra in their squad too.
Amit Mishra.
He's been a good performer in IPL cricket. So they've got those spin options there, but how well can they perform at the death with the ball? I think that's a concern for them. If they can get that right, then they've got those spinners in the middle overs who can keep the run rate down. But can they ensure that they don't leak runs or undo the good work at the back end? That's another question.
You talked about Sandeep Lamishane. I feel that this team does not like him. They don't play him here. He's such a quality bowler. But
he's in and out. It's incredible, isn't it? Yeah. In and out of the team regularly. I think they've got to find a role for him and play him regularly. Magnificent bowler in the white ball forms.
But this season in particular, I feel that he might struggle to find a place in the team.
He could, with those spin options there, and they want to try, shore up their death options.
Exactly.
It could be right. It could be a problem for him, which is a shame because he's got the quality. Do they go Kemo Paul and Rabada as the key death bowlers? They might do that. With the spinners wheeling away in the middle. Just have to wait and see.
Yep, and in UAE, I feel that Kemo Paul will be preferred along with Kagiso Rabada at the death. As you mentioned, they have got some good depth in the spin bowling. They have a solid Indian core, and obviously Pant and Hetmeyer. If they get going, it's nothing like it for them. But they lack a strong Indian pacer. I guess the biggest Indian pacer they have is Ishant Sharma.
Yeah. So good power play, good power play bowler. I think that's the thing with Delhi. They've got the personnel to have a solid power play with the ball. Solid middle overs period with the ball. Can they, round it off with some good death bowling? Because I fear that they're going to concede. They're going to concede a lot of runs at the death if they don't quite get it right.
Over dependent upon Kagiso Rabada.
Very much so, I think.
Yeah, and as mentioned, they have too many options for the same spot. A weakness.
Trying to figure out a first 11. Like I'm looking at that squad. I'm like, who do I leave out? I'm thinking. You got Rahane's got all that experience. You get him. Are you going to leave him out of your 11? What's the point of bringing him over then for that experience?
Exactly.
And then leave him out. And Shikhar Dhawan's been one of the IPL's most premier batsmen, I feel.
Yes.
Performs quite well in IPL cricket. Then you leave out someone like Jason Roy, who can give you such an explosive start. And I think that's what they need this season. But you leave him out. Prithvi Shaw, a great talent. I know you mentioned he was sort of inconsistent, but for me he's still young, a lot to learn. He's got bags of potential. How are you going to help him improve if you don't play him, and how is he going to improve if he doesn't get the opportunities? So Shreyas Iyer is there, of course. They've got to figure out their opening combination. It's got to be effective for them very quickly.
Fair points over there. So I feel that they have some 8 options for the top 3. Maybe even more, because if you ask Shimron Hetmeyer where would he like to play, he'll say he wants to play at number 3. So
no chance.
So many options over there.
Yeah.
And playoff chances, are they making it through?
I'm a bit worried about them, to be honest. I think maybe similar to Rajasthan, they'll be fighting thereabouts. I think they've got quite a bit of talent in their team, of course. But as we've mentioned, I look at their 11 and they're going to rely on Hetmeyer and Pant to get them the scores that they need. And they're going to rely a lot on Rabada to keep things pretty quiet, or as quiet as possible at the death. they probably haven't got a lot of players they can turn to in those key situations. If they can get players that fire in those key moments, then they're a chance, of winning enough games to get through to the playoffs. But you look at the IPL, how competitive it is. They'll be fighting, I feel, but I wouldn't be surprised. I think they'll either finish 4th, maybe 5th, 6th, around there, around the middle of the table.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same thoughts over there. They will be fighting. I don't see them making it through to the playoffs, to be honest. Again, if it just boils down upon how Pant and Hetmai perform. Are they able to propel the team to those large totals, which this bowling unit can end up defend? So, they largely depend.
Their best chance their best bet would be, let's bat first in most games, as many games as we can. Providing, I don't know if dew is a factor in the UAE this time of year, but bat first, get a good score on the board, and then choke the opposition with our spinners, and then increase that required run rate, and you can get some wickets there at the back end, and reduces the pressure on your fast bowlers there as well. So I think if they're chasing big scores, that might be a problem for Delhi.
Might struggle. Yep.
Because when you're chasing a big score, you need very quick starts to get you off on the right foot. And we're not playing a Delhi this season where the pitch is usually very slow and difficult to bat on. They're playing in the UAE where pitches will be slow, but I don't think they'll turn as much. I think there will be a system for the spinners, but I don't think it'll be as difficult to bat on as it is in Delhi. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Batting first, using your spinners to choke the opposition, I think it's their best bet.
Yeah, I mean, there is this misconception about the UAE that they might produce ranked turners, whereas they don't actually do that.
I don't think there's a lot of ranked turners,
Exactly. People think that, it's going to be like Chepauk, which it won't be. I feel that it might just be like the Savai Mansingh in Jaipur. Somewhat like that, to be honest.
Yeah, and in between. So you'll have the spinners that'll be on the slow side. You might get some turn, of course. The fast bowlers, digging it into the pitch, cutters. And those Yorkers, of course, might work well there. So I think the spinners, of course, will have a key role to play, but not as much, I think, as playing in Delhi. I think you'll be able to play your shots a little bit more freely in the UAE compared to the Indian capital.
Absolutely. As the tournament progresses, the natural wear and tear will obviously affect the pitch, assisting turn in the later half of the tournament. But I still feel there won't be rank turners, as people often talk about it. So, right. Anything you would like to mention?
Yeah, I think I think Delhi needs to have a good first half of the season, so that when the squares and the pitches are a lot more tired after a lot of action on them in the UAE, they can start win a few games at the back end on the back of those slower pitches, and their spinners can really come to the fore. I think it's important for Delhi to have a good start, not fall too far behind. Like a couple of other teams who've got a bit of question marks about them, they've got to start well. If they can do that, then they're a chance of playoffs. They want to build well on last season. That's important for them.
Yes, they renamed and did all those kind of things. So the Delhi Capitals, that was our analysis upon the Delhi Capitals and how they might go about, how they rely upon some of their key players this season. And obviously, the next video, it will be about the Kolkata Knight Riders. I know KKR fans, you have waited for it a lot. So I'm sorry for keeping it at last, but right, the next video shall be about the Kolkata Knight Riders. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, stay tuned, and thank you for watching.